Hello and thanks for joining me today. I'm on my way to a brand new airport just released by PilotPlus. Available directly from PilotPlus or via Orbix Central, and no doubt coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace in the near future. This developer has a reputation for top quality and detail, and this will be their third airport for Microsoft Flight Simulator. The first being Wycombe Airpark, a small but detailed GA airport, and of course London Southend. In both cases they raised the bar in terms of quality, detail and immersion. We've arrived at London Oxford, a busy and medium-sized airport. Based on what this developer has brought to the simulator before, I'm excited to see what London Oxford can offer. London Oxford, of course, is based in the UK, fairly centrally based, and about an hour's drive from London northwest. Just a stone's throw away from the airport is Blenheim Palace, the historical home of Winston Churchill. The palace being one of the handcrafted points of interest following the UK update. But today we're more interested in the airport, so let's take a look. It's just a short hop across the A44 highway, and we're at Oxford Airport. This airport was previously known as Kidlington. One main runway, 0119, approximately 5,000 feet in length. There's a smaller second runway, but I'm not sure if it's still in use. We've arrived at the airport, and it's immediately evident that the attention to detail standards have been maintained. And I like their rendition of the tower, not just because of the detail, but the fact that rain shows on the tower glass. Nice little touch. Let's take a look around. London Oxford is a medium-sized airport, catering predominantly for GA and business class aircraft, and the business jets are clearly evident here. And as you may have noticed, I had no problem getting the smaller Bombardier CRJ into Oxford Airport. There's a lot of activity at this airport, and you'll notice quite a lot of hangars have the Airbus sign on it, and that's because this is the home of Airbus Helicopter Division, carrying out maintenance as well as some R&D. It's also a base for Eurocopter UK. The level of detail here is impressive, and although I've never been to this airport, I have no doubt it represents something very, very close to the real world. If it comes from PilotPlus, well, I think we can take that for granted. These buildings have all been individually modelled, and the 3D modelling across the airport once again is outstanding. And it's not all new and shiny, there's dirt and grime, as one would expect to find at an airport of this age. I'm not totally sure, but I think the airport was established in the early 1930s, so it's got to be 90 plus years old. There are thankfully a number of open hangars, and I'm going to have to park in one, I just can't resist it. And the quality inside the hangar is just the same as outside. According to Wikipedia, this airport is currently privately owned, and there is a lot of pilot training going on here, both GA, but there is a focus on commercial licenses. And although there are no scheduled airliners flying from this site, I believe business-based aviation activity is on the up and up. That's one of the commercial training schools. Look at the detailed modelling on those fuel vehicles. Whilst that sort of thing may not be critical to everybody, it does help with the level of immersion. Microsoft Flight Simulator has brought detail to the sim that we haven't seen before. And airports such as this complement that, in my opinion, is rapidly becoming the standard that we expect. Yes, Microsoft Flight Simulator has its problems and its limitations, but development is continuing, and we need to remember this is only 7 months old, this sim. There are a couple of offices here that have been modelled as well. A crazy amount of detail. But having flown the Cessna jet and the CRJ into London Oxford, I can tell you it's frame friendly. And I have an i7 8700K and a 2080 Ti, so my hardware is not top drawer. As was the case with PilotPlus's two previous airports, Wycombe and Southend, the modelling has not been restricted just to the confines of the airport, but covers some of the surrounds as well. We're now behind the airport and what looks like to be some form of business park. And this one seems to consist mainly of motor vehicle showrooms or maintenance or something of that nature. The realism is enhanced by the way the cars are parked. They're not all in a perfect line. I love that sort of attention to detail. As I mentioned earlier, London Oxford was called Kidlington, and for many years stretching back to the 1940s. It was also an RAF base, with the Royal Air Force having various different units posted here over the years. RAF Kidlington has subsequently closed, but some of the hangars at this airport are reminiscent of that period. Due to this airport being relatively close to London, there is a lot of general GA activity takes place, especially on weekends. And there are a number of executive business jet operators that base themselves here at London Oxford. PilotPlus did an outstanding job of the night lighting at Southend. And I'm pleased to say, here at London Oxford, it's just the same. It's not been overdone and is very realistic indeed. They've made great use of the dynamic lighting features within the sim. Is this level of detail important to you? I'd love to know your views. Let me know in the comments below. So what do I think about this airport from PilotPlus? Well, I guess it'll be no surprise that I'm very impressed. PilotPlus did provide me with a review copy of this airport, but that in no way affects my views and opinions. If it wasn't good enough, I'd tell you, but happily, this definitely gets my recommendation. If you're into GA and the smaller to medium-sized business jets, this is a great destination, and less than half an hour's flying time from Wycombe Airpark as well. Well done, PilotPlus. Thank you very much for joining me for this short review. Take care and look after yourselves, and bye for now.